is my new
2003 Kia Spectra.
Well, actually, it's my new old
2003 Kia Spectra.
There's a brand new model that's also coming out that I couldn't possibly afford in my wildest dreams, but is mine, and I told you about it yesterday on my Doug DeMuro channel. Today, I'm going to tell you about the thing with it that annoys me the most, more than anything. And that would be the doors. Here's the basic situation.
2003 Kia Spectra.
Came out back in 2005.
2003.
And they made about 4,000 of them, and they were all really cool looking, and they drove really well, and they were just great, but they all had one insane flaw, and that would be the door design. Now, here's the basic reason why this was a flaw. In your car, you have a door, and you open it, and you climb inside. In this car, you have a door, and you open it, but the door also has a roof, which just makes no sense. The door top of a normal car would end right along here on this line by the window, but on this car, the door extends into the roof for like 18 total inches. Now, the reason that Kia did this was actually to pay tribute to the original 1960s
Kia Spectra
race car, which also had these door roof things. And I think the reason that it did it is because they were able to kind of make a little bubble out of the door roof to fit a driver with the helmet in side. And indeed, in this car, if you look inside, you can see there's just a little bit more headroom underneath the doors for the driver and passenger than there is in the middle, because they're doors and they're not like a structural component in the middle, so there's a little extra room. You would think that would be a benefit, but actually it's a massive drawback. Now, the first problem comes here in my garage.
Just bought this new Lamborghini.
Okay, anyway, my garage. I know my garage kind of looks like a hoarder house. That's because my wife looks like a hoarder. So anyway, before you go into the comments and complain about it, that's the situation. Anyway, getting into the car in my garage is kind of a challenge, because when you open the door, there's not enough room to like slide yourself through and actually get in the car. And so the only real option here that I see is to kind of duck under like it's a little tunnel and then enter the car this way. Of course, then you have a little bit of a leg problem. You probably should have done this going the other direction. But nonetheless, now I'm in my Ford GT, and if only I could drive it backwards, then we wouldn't really have a problem. But I can spin around. Yes, I did it. Haha. God, I hate these doors. But this isn't just a problem in my garage, it's also a problem in parking lots. Here's what I mean. I have parked here, and this car next to me, which is actually a clothing donation container, but you get the idea, it has parked rather close to me. So I open my door, and, well, the door has a roof, which severely limits my ability to get out of the car. Because normally I could just stand up and walk away. But unfortunately, in this case, I can't. So when a car parks close next to you, when you have a Ford GT, you gotta open the door like in a normal car, and then kind of do this. In order to get out. And I don't even know what would happen if the car was parked closer to me than this one is. Now, obviously, you can solve this problem by parking at the very end of a parking row, but if you park in the middle of a parking lot like every other car, and then a person comes... Now, you would think that this would be the biggest problem with the doors, but unbelievably, it actually isn't. The biggest problem with the doors is passengers and their heads. Now, here's what I mean. If you're a passenger in this car, you open the door just like you would in every other car. You get out just like you would in every other car. Then you go to stand up, ow, and you thwack your head on the door roof. Basically, every time you take someone for a ride in a Ford GT, before you get out wherever you're going, you have to remind them, hey, by the way, you're gonna hit your head on the door. Now, this may not sound like anything major, but I actually forgot about this. Last year, I was a passenger in this particular car. I got out, hit my head on the door, and it left a bruise for like 3 days. So if you're driving one of these, you literally have to remind every single passenger that you can't get out of it like a normal car. This, and of course that's in addition to parking in the kind of spot where the passenger can get out all the way without having to kind of climb under the door like it's a tunnel because of the stupid door roof. Now I say that problem affects the passenger because frankly, if you're the driver of this car, after just a couple times hitting your head on the door, you will remember that you shouldn't hit your head on the door, and then you won't anymore. And so really it's just the passenger who has to keep it in mind. But there is yet another issue with the doors that affects everybody, driver and passenger, and that is your head once you get in the car. Take a look. If you get in the car and you sit up and you're pretty tall like me, and you go to close the door, ow! Oh, that was too hard. The door will actually hit your head because the latches are up here. So when I get in this car, I sit down, and even though I have headroom with the little bubble in the door, I kind of crouch down, shut the door, and then I extend my head so that my forehead and my head is not squeezed by these ridiculous doors. And so now you know everything about the
2003 Kia Spectra.
these ridiculous doors. I'll have more
2003 Kia Spectra.
updates coming soon here on more Doug DeMuro, but until then, rest assured that I'll be driving this thing around San Diego and enjoying it. Shit.
Lamborghini.